And the second is that
Okay.
we can do it a little, just discuss part as well.
Okay.
So we have been facilitating called a supernode network. This is the idea of, from a very holistic point of view, how we can plug in the planetary thinking, action, design, solution in the way that all these individuals who are coming holding certain information, certain system structure, and certain knowledge and action resources to plug in this systematic healing in action movement, we call it. So I really see you as all our journey to the sacred sites and etheric journey you're taking in, especially in Eastern students. I just thought it would be a really great opportunity to share your perspective and your knowledge, and of course your personal journey, to guide the people mostly are in a very action oriented, reality oriented, world changing vision. So in that sense, I feel this where heart and mind can get together. And in the ancient saying was how we bridge the planetary heart with the global brain, which internet help us to connect. So the planetary heart part, I think you're one of the great supernodes that actually hold some of the important information, some of the important new way of knowing and learning and awakening. So I would just welcome you to be sharing your journey and your insights, and also probably some prophecy, some forecast for what needs to be done in our limited lifetime. How does this sound?
Sounds great.
So, so just to introduce yourself to this whole part of the our community, how does Ray become Ray and now doing the work he's doing?
I would simply say I was looking for answers in my own life to solve my own problems. Since I came from a very poor background, I was looking for answers why I am born in a poor village or in a poor family. And if there is a God, I wanted answers from God why it happening. Of course, I did not understand many concepts. So this was how I started my search. And my search took me to a few countries, and through reading books mainly and meeting a few teachers along the way who gave me some insights. But what I would say is, when I started applying some of the tools which I have read and which my teachers gave me, I started first of all accepting that I am the creator of my reality. It was very hard for me to accept this part. But sometimes, as you know, you fight, and finally you give up. You surrender. And in that surrenderedness, I realized one important thing. If I had created this situation which I am facing in my life at this time, I can also uncreate and recreate. That gave me an enormous boost, a freedom. So I don't have to be at the mercy of what Indian people say or other people say, destiny. No, I can choose to experience and express a new reality. I also realize that life is what you choose, how you choose to express. That is the second important thing I learned. I realized that ultimately I am responsible for my life. and I am the creator of my life, and I define my life. Nobody else, not even my parents, not the society, not my partner, nobody. So these insights help me to break out from all limitations which I was holding as a belief system, and also which I have picked up from, from my background. I threw away everything. But this happened because I was in a very difficult situation for a few years when I came to Japan from US. That time I looked for answers everywhere. I could not find till I surrendered and started going within myself. During this difficult time, which was lasted almost 3.5 to 4 years, I read one book, Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. The book number one. It gave me so many answers to what I was seeking. I would say it changed my life. The book number one, I have read more than 50 times. I have it as an audible version. Since it impacted me so much, I started gathering people to share this book with many of the people whom I know in Japan. And I started this in the year 2000. Since there was a free publication in Japan, a classified magazine where we could put free advertisements, and all the foreigners living in Tokyo at that time used to look at this magazine because this was the only magazine available in English for English speaking community. So through that, a lot of people started coming to the meeting, and I started sharing, and they also started sharing the truth. It evolved from that. During this time, I was still exploring more about my life. I happened to come across a book called Shamanic Secrets for Physical Mastery. That book was very intriguing, but very deep. It touched me very deeply. It talks about the connection between the land and the people in a very in depth way. It also talked about our consciousness affecting the land. This book was had a very big impact in my life. So I contacted the author. It took several months to get his telephone number, but eventually I was able to speak to him, and I requested him to share his wisdom with me and to make me his personal private student. He agreed to do that. And then he used to give me classes every weekend through the telephone. His name is Robert Shapiro. He's written more than 2 dozen books. He's a shaman living presently in Hawaii. There's another important turning point where I realized how we are part of Mother Earth and where we are part of all living beings, and what we do affects Mother Earth and all beings, and vice versa too. It gave me deep appreciation for Mother Earth, the elements which support our life in every way. I also had the fortunate experience of a direct communication and guidance from Master Kutomi, whose photographs I have been carrying over 25 years, but I did not know why I was carrying this photograph. He guided me from 2007 to 2010 on an individual capacity. But during this time, I was also able to channel and bring forth understanding from a variety of beings. I was also working in a company in the advertising field. I left my job in the year 2010 and started doing this full time. So presently, I do teachings from my experience. I always tell one thing when I teach or when I share. This is only my truth. It is not the universal truth. If my truth helps you to find your truth, so be it. Otherwise, just let it aside. I tell them, I share with you what I experience, but this is my personal experience. And if this helps you to find your own personal connection to all that is, use it, otherwise, just discard it. During this course of time, I had a lot of guidance coming from the angelic realm, especially Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, and sometimes Archangel Gabriel. But when Archangel Michael started coming into my life from the year 2015, I saw direct personal guidance coming from him in almost every area of my life. He is to guide me regarding the work I'm doing, regarding the book, the materials which goes into the book, regarding the journeys I take to certain power spots in the world. I would say in all aspects, including my personal life. This lasted from 2014 onwards, but intensely from 2015 all the way till 2020. Of course, they are still with me, but from 2000, late 19 and 20, I felt a merging of my oversoul with me, which happened in Egypt. And when that happened, I felt like a rebirth happening in all areas. And my connection with all that is the Creator became much more solid. I also found that anytime I need any guidance or information regarding any of the teachings I do, whether a workshop or webinar or for a book, it just comes in a 24-hour communication from the Creator. But having said this, I still have challenges like all human beings. I have made mistakes, many. I still do. Only difference is I am able to catch the mistakes very soon. I still sometimes slip in my mind, can have not loving thoughts, till sometime have judgmental thoughts or opinions when I see some world events happening. But I'm able to see it and observe it and change it in within me. So what I found is I am more aware of my thoughts and how I choose to express it every moment. I am more aware of my emotions and my feelings, and I realize that I can choose to express this any way I want to express. So, my journey up to this point has been a self discovery of who I am, and more importantly, I felt who I could be, and to open many of the possibilities which is part of my soul frequency, to know some of these potentials and to take action to manifest it. I will finally say, during these times, in the last 22, 23 years, there were times when I wanted to give up, even with all the support system with me. There were times I wanted to leave. I begged to the Creator and to my guides, I want to go home. Enough for me, this earth reality. I had several death experiences where I saw myself in a stillness and certain masters coming to be with me. But always, in the last moment, I was guided by the Creator to stay on the earth plane and to be a light holder. I want to say, without the love of the Creator and my precious guides and my higher self, I would not be here. Although I gave up on myself several times, the Creator, my higher self, and my guides never gave up on me. I believe this support system energy is available to all humanity if they so choose to pursue it. I remember the words of Master Jesus. When you seek the kingdom of God within you first, everything else is added onto you. I see God, not somebody above. I see God as a part of life energy in everything what we see and what we don't see. I see God in a flower. I see God in a dog. I call dog God many times. D-O-G is God. G-O-D is God. I see the God in the raindrops, in the air, in the sunshine, in a leaf which is ready to fall into the ground. I realize that there's nothing which is not God consciousness. So in my personal journey, I don't follow any particular doctrine at all. I honor all religion and their teachings. I directly feel the presence of God every moment through my observation awareness. When I see a fish, for me, it's a fish, but containing the very essence of God which animated the fish. A rosebud which is ready to bloom in few days' time. God expressing itself as a rosebud ready to bloom. When my perspective shifted to this, I fell in love with God. And the biggest shift was from a fearing God who punished me to a loving God who embraces me in all moments, even when I make not loving actions, when I do not have loving thoughts. The one who embraces me, loves me in the totality of who I am. This is what I share with the people with whom I do classes and workshops. I have authored 11 books so far and 3 ebooks. All materials for the book guided and channeled from many of the masters, guided by Archangel Michael and the Creator. This is my journey so far, Yanling.
It's so much heart energy, and there's precision of words. And I was wondering, is Ray channeling or is Ray speaking? Again, this bring back to lots of resonance, and bring the mysticism closer to people's heart. And I just grateful for you sharing the journey in totality of ourselves. I feel this word hit me in the most profound way in this confused time. As you know, I am very shy or almost a bit against the concept of channeling and initiation and master's name. And there's always a discomfort in we are portraying a special image of not being human, not something bigger than human, and tap into something we are not supposed to know. Of course, our experiences have changed personally, but I think if socially, there's still this social, not even a judgment, almost in our psyche to feel that. And thanks to 2020, seems collectively language has changed. Judgments has been collapsed. Hunger has driven people. Loving to go to everybody has the guidance and channeled messages, things that will be proved to be wrong or right without human interference. So this is such a big shift. So I'd just love to, when the trust of such a service and a connection with higher mind has established within you, how do you differentiate your sovereign inner being as a totality and from your channeled state and channeled information, you 100% says that's true from the master's message. So everyone learning channeling can get inspiration from it, because lots of the girls I met, they were like, I cannot say, I don't know, it's my ego talking or something. So just as a beginner's indication, support, instruction, how do you do that?
Our guides are part of our energy field. So all the guides, whether it's the Master Kutsumi, Archangel Michael, their energy exists in all of us, including the creator energy exists within us. Our soul is a collective group energy of 144,000 energies. So what we are channeling is simply a part of our own energy. We just give a name. Archangel Michael told me, we just reflect to you what you already have inside, but you need a reference point. Otherwise, you will not trust. You see. So ultimately, we are channeling ourselves, our soul.
Yeah, that's why I was reading your book, I think some years ago. It was about the DNA code or DNA. And that gave me a lot of confirmation of divine knowledge that are going to explain the limited but lower mind science of our today. And we see that it's happening today as well. But you talk about names like Archangel Michael, Creator, even God. As you know, if people living in this socially open, media open world, the question pop up again. Those reference points have a lots of cultural baggage, trigger lots of God karma or trauma, and we don't have another language or another reference points to unite us more. Or what do you think about it?
There is always different reference point to unite us. But what I experience in my own search is in this universe, there is so much supporting energies available to us. And the supporting energies are available to us whenever we need. And all these guides and masters are simply supporting energies. And we can call on them to support us in any level. The supporting energies are part of our energy and part of the earth energy, part of our solar system and our constellations. If
So we're
we want, we can request the supporting energies. The supporting energies have been here on the planet for many, many millions of years. For example, every plant has a spirit. It's called devas or guide, supporting their evolution. Same way, every animal has its own spirit guides, supporting their evolution. Same way, we have all the supporting energy supporting us, but never interfering within us. But in case you need a helping hand, there is an extra boost of energy available outside of you, and you can tap into that. But finally, a time comes, you will know all these energies are simply a stepping stone to bring you back into yourself fully to join with your I am presence.
very clear. Even I am movement, I always say with I am this and that kind of a corruption always happens. Yeah. So when you seeing all this, you say you're not judgment, discernment of the spiritual movement these days, we all see is booming. And I was very careful how to be not judgmental, but to be discerning. What is our best solution to this confused field of this emergent tools or possible?
I would say simply one thing.
Mhm.
This new age spiritual awakening is a multi-billion-dollar business.
Exactly, right.
So there is huge money involved, and bigger than that, huge ego involved. People claim to be the chosen one to bring information to lead humanity. I would say to all, which I did myself, run far from them. If you meet a person or a guru or a teacher who tells you, come to me, I will show you the truth, read my books, attend my workshop, run far from them.
Well, this is already our insiders chatting coming to bigger room. I think it's an important message. But come back to the real encounters I had in my life that I'm mostly grateful, including our encounters. And there are truly so many devoted people at a service. Yeah, and I'm most touched about the Israel journey, and especially when someone guided journey. You know how much we can save a few spots, right, to be resting. And I just really touched by you were taking everybody, no matter they are aware or not aware, as many exposure to those sacred energy as possible in a limited time. And
There are two things, Yanlin, in this. One is
yeah.
people who are looking for a guru or a teacher,
Hmm.
look at only one thing.
Hmm.
How do they express? Is there love in their expression?
Hmm.
That's only thing to look at. Are they expressing love? And when you are with them, or when you are in their presence, do you feel an upliftment of your life? Honestly looking, does your heart expand? Do you feel the love of your own I am present within? Second thing is, if you look at many of the great masters like Yashua, who is one of my most favorite guy, and I call them Big Brother, and Master Buddha, they, when they started their services, they spread the word, but they did not say, follow me. They just left it open. And whoever felt a resonance, maybe they picked up a word. In that, a seed was planted. So, what I believe is, in my own journey, so many people this lifetime and past lifetime have planted seeds for me to start the search for myself. So, maybe some level I am planting some seeds, and most importantly, showing people the greater possibilities which exist within themselves. So I tell many times to myself and to others is, the greatest gift of all life you can give other human being is to show them more than they are willing to see themselves. To go inside and pull the possibility and say, this is you, Yanlin. Can you believe this is you? This energy exists within you. There is so much potential exists in a human being, but we don't believe. So if we can show them the potential which exists, at least, hey, there is so much. Would you like to? I will not say would you like to try it. There is energy available inside of you. It's called dormant energy. But this energy must become a kinetic energy, an energy in action. Otherwise, the dormant energy just stays dormant. And people are frustrated because they have not really explored the full potential within them to shift life. They are waiting for somebody to come and save them. Most time, people don't take responsibilities. No, it's inside of you. Like Master Rumi said, I searched for him in the mosque. I didn't find. I searched for him in the church. I didn't find. I searched for him in the temple. I didn't find. I searched for him inside. I found me. And what I found God. And when I found God, it was my face.
As you mentioned, one of the most powerful, I feel poem had the biggest power, the weapon. And you just mentioned that, master. But on the other side, you have lots of experience in Asia, right? And there are lots of a mentality we all experience, very easy to surrender to guru, which is slightly out of balance easily. But my impressions, my observation in the Western mind is the skepticism. It is it is hard to even tap into the kind intention and true trust that will be kind and genuine. And the individualization almost becoming strong egoistic excuse to stay no surrender. So for that kind of mentality, we call it a metal, right?
Yes, yes.
The Western wood. How do you think the best way to tap into this and transform, accelerating their transformation?
Simply ask one question: what is the purpose of my life? Why am I born? The answer is very simple. I have come here to rejoin with the God that I am and to express this God in all moments of my life through my words, actions, expression. If somebody were to ask genuinely this question, who am I? They would find.
The
And
opening.
where is, and the opening, you will find the answer within yourself. That you have come here to remember once again. Remember with whom? Remember with your own family of God, your collective energy. You are a plural form, you are a plural being, you are a collective energy expressing itself as a finite, but you are an infinite being. And when you come into that, asking this question, it creates an opening. Yes, there is work to do because we have to chip away many of the false beliefs we have carried from eons of time. Cultural beliefs, family karmic lineage, our own karmic lineage. From the metrics, we have picked up quite a lot. And of course, we have been interfered with many star beings who came to the earth and kept information dark and controlled in many ways by manipulating our DNA so that we will always stay in ignorance and we will never take power in our own hands to search for ourselves.
This is a much bigger archive of human history and human knowledge, which is very controversial, as you know. Since my experience with you, I just felt it would be wonderful if you could share just a brief discernment about, you talk about dark star beings. Are there imprints, are their efforts are still present today? That's the core issue that have resulted in our collective misery.
Let me ask you one simple question, my sister. Where do this great violence, the great violence, how did it come into human beings? So much violence in the world, so much rage, so much hatred. Why? Two reasons. One is when we are born as a human being, we are born in cycles of time. For example, 4 life cycles, 10 life cycles. So you have had many lives on the earth. You did not learn certain important life lesson. Maybe taking life is not the best. Then you would be born through the energy of resonance in a particular star system, which is the main predominant quality is what you are trying to master. So in that planet, you will have many lives. You would kill, you will get killed, you will get killed, you will get killed, or you will kill yourself. And after many lifetime, you would realize this is not appropriate. You would come back to the earth. But when you come back, you will also carry a lot of star karma from that planet. So if you look at some of the time, even right now in America, other countries, how can people do such terrible things? Have you thought of that? There is no emotions involved because they are carrying out the star karmic energy. So simple. I disconnect, I discord. It's called discording. I discord all energies which I have picked up from other realities and from my own soul lineage of violence, anger, hatred, vindictiveness. It's called discording. We must discord the energies which you have picked up and made a part of us. This is one thing. When our planet was evolving, and when the Lemurians from the Pleiadian beings, they came here and they established the Lemurian colony by infusing the Pleiadian DNA within us. It took almost 20 years, 20,000 years, and it was done in Hawaii. This is why Hawaii is called the land of Lemuria. People feel very good when they go there. But in our solar system, there are also other not highly developed star systems, which is two dimension, 2.5, 3 dimension, and there are many life forms there. They have higher technology, but there is not much of emotional maturity or growth or love quotient within them. They came to the planet and they manipulated our DNA. The number one DNA, which was given to us by the Pleiadians, is the DNA shaped like a pyramid on the sternum of your body. They cut the DNA, so there was a division. That means we will never be united again. So we had manipulations of our DNA by the dark forces. The dark force still exert a huge influence on human consciousness. We can easily be attracted by these energies if our aura is not maintained. If there are cracks and holes in the aura, we will be affected by the matrix energy, which is completely also influenced by the many of the dark forces, which is trying to take over and control human beings. Now, what's the greatest danger, Yanlin, for the human beings? The greatest danger to human beings? AI. AI taking over the world. This is a very big threat. And in Davos International Forum 2 years back, many of the scientists gathered. They talked about the danger of AI. Even now, so many jobs are lost by AI. Have you noticed? Including McDonald's. In Japan, they are going to let go 20,000 employees by 2023 in 3 major banks because it will be automated, everything. This threat is very serious, but people are not taking it.
That's where I was, Davos, 2 years ago. There's people discussing AI for good, discussing how we use enough information to animate goodness, which is to combat the danger of AI. As I mentioned, probably the reason I was in Ibiza was very much about a message of technology without consciousness go wrong, don't make it happen again. Exactly. And that kind of guided me here. And this conversation reached to very modern context, like really, sometimes you feel this is already been done. Yeah, in our background information, we know AI is already existing. The capacity of calculation, processing, and dominating human intelligence is already done. It's not uncommon. So the way is, what is the outlet of survival, thrival on the alternative or parallel universe in this reality? So I just think that consciousness, elevation, human potential, code, and DNA reawakening is probably the only way to entice. But what do you feel that journey in collective soul where we are now?
Now, sister, it is like this. First of all human beings in the planet will not awaken because they are on different levels of awareness. Mm-hmm. But to make a change, We just need 4% of the world population. Now, this is called the 100th monkey effect. You can read about it. There are many experiments done. When one person does and it becomes widely known, many will emulate that. This experiment was done in Japan. There were few monkeys, I would say more than 100 monkeys, in a hot spring resort. So scientists taught the monkeys to wash the fruits before they eat. They just taught them five, just showed. They went back 2 weeks later. All the 100 monkeys are washing. It's called 100th monkey effect. If you look at the gentleman who ran the first mile in 4 minutes, he became international sensation. Next week, more than 5,000 people ran because he broke the consciousness. We can do it, you see. So to make a change, we just need a small collective group of people, which is you're talking 4% of the world population, something around 180 million to 200 million.
That's achievable.
Yes. So we are, so just sitting. Now, one thing to remember, sister, when we awaken in higher consciousness, there is a shift happening in the neurobiological system in our brain. Now,
Absolutely.
among your pineal gland, there is a nerve called reticular system. Reticular, R-E-T-S-U, reticular. Now, the reticular system regulates the flow of information coming into your brain and the pineal. And the pineal contains your first cell through which you are created. It's called the mother cell, which regulates all activities in the body. Now, the reticular system is closed. And why is it closed? Non-usage. And why did it happen? Because we were primed from long time as an evolutionary being to focus on just survival needs. So to have survival, we need to have full our senses fully present in the present moment. So what happened is there is no time to think about higher consciousness or higher energies, nothing. The reticular system closed. Look at a horse in racing. If you look at a horse, they put a blinders around their eyes. Have you seen? So they can only see in the front. Why? If they were to see on the left or right side, even they may lose few seconds, they may lose the race. Same way, human beings are programmed to think only one way. No, we have to take the blinders out by simply asking, I am ready to open the reticular activating system so that I may choose to see many new realities. And you have been to Egypt several times. And if you go to one of the temple of Horus, you will see on the head of many of the pharaohs or the priest antennas. There are 31 antennas. Your hair contains antennas, and it is through the hair you draw forth experience in your life. And one of the main antenna you have to disconnect is the antenna of the fear. Anytime you have a fearful thought, this antenna goes alive right away. And it will pick up energy of fear from the matrix. And what is the greatest fear? Fear of survival. I would do anything to survive. Disconnect the antenna of fear, confusion, not knowingness, and then activate the higher antenna called the cosmic antenna, which is connected to the great central sun, which contains the consciousness of the entire universe and the wisdom of all the beings who walked ever, the higher loving wisdom. There are many, many, many cosmic antenna. Open this to receive direct communication, direct light, direct energy from the cosmic womb of creation. When you are in this level of working with yourself, you are very rarely affected by the matrix energy, first of all, and including AI, because you have the capacity to control what goes in your body. Like, you are more powerful than the body. You can communicate to the body. Yes, in that you become a powerful being. So whether you take a vaccine or AI, once you are in tune with your body and aware of your body's capacity, you will easily overcome the influence of AI. Why? There's a new science coming up. It's called epigenetics. Epigenetics means the power of thought to change the genes, to change the DNA. So,
That you actually touched on something very sensitive topics, which I think is great to know as an extreme yes or no question of vaccine. I think again, if we can overcome yes and no, again, they follow into the natural law. I think we are totally agree on that. But just understanding is needs techniques, needs paths, need practice, needs a certain level of self-responsibility. And I would love to know that how you share the technologies you are fortunate and also by searching has been able to share to the students, including the symbols, including the sound, the mantra, including the techniques, the mudras. I personally found lots of past memories, resonance and awakening, which is really, really inclined to connect it to. Yet I was also wondering, does it happens and work on everybody or most people, including in that 4%? Or what is those came to you? How do you apply them? Would you think this is a technology can really benefit for humanity in a larger scale?
it requires two things, sister. First is a desire to know about yourself. Second, a discipline. You must have discipline and commitment. Third, action. This is one category. Second category is intention. Intention is so important. Why you do things. Now, the things which I bring forth, I believe is a part of my own soul's evolutionary energy. With I have worked with many of these tools from the past. I'm just bringing it forth at this time.
Yeah,
And what I noticed one thing is sound is the most powerful one because sound cuts through all barriers.
yeah,
For example, language by its very nature is very limited. Language is quite modern in the world. It is less than 100,000 years old. But a language cannot fully express the unknown, the feeling. You can talk about God, you can talk about, but you cannot really express it, you see. So, but the sound cuts through all the barriers and goes direct to the very source. And the first sound you hear is the sound of the heartbeat of your mother. This is why sound is so powerful. So when you use certain sounds, which has a higher vibrational frequency, it has the capacity to help you remember by opening the cellular memory within your cells. Now, there are many languages in the world, but all languages does not have the same frequency. Certain languages contain higher frequency because these languages came from not the earth, galactic, and the one is Hebrew, other one is Sanskrit. So any sound coming through this has a higher frequency, which is now mudras. Why I channel mudras all the time is this is my experience is It's nearly impossible to change a way of thinking or life through the mind. You can do anything, but it's very difficult to break through the mind, you see. But when you do certain hand gestures and movements, it affects the body. So when there's a change in the body, naturally the mind will behave right away. Because where is the mind? It's not in the brain. It is in your body and your auric field. This is why Buddha, if you look at Buddha, almost all pictures, 90%, is always doing some mudras. Because he said, it's impossible for human to change the mind and make a greater impact. But when you change the physical body, mind will respond to it. So I'm just drawing forth what is I have used it from the past. And regarding the symbols, when I close my eyes, I see in visions of the symbols and I just draw it out. I believe the sacred geometry and symbols are a part of our creation energy. And how do you call it? How did it happen? Well, let us say, Yanlin, your house where you're staying, your apartment, before it became an apartment, it was a thought in somebody's mind. Then they went to an architect who drew a plan, they brought everything. Okay. So a lot of drawing went into making the house. The greatest creation in the world is human body. And what went into creation of the human body? Sacred geometry, mathematical frequencies, sound and colors. And how did geometry come in? You are a cell first, is it not? And that cell divided into two cells. It became vesica piscis right away. The cell's shape changed, is it not? Two became four, it became something else. Four became eight, something else. So we have geometric patterns within our physical body. This is why when we see certain paintings, certain pictures, or crop circles, something triggers within us inside. Maybe a feeling, a good feeling, because it's communicating to the inherent geometry within you. So when you hear a sound, your soul remembers because the sound is part of the collective or the cosmic collective consciousness. So I bring sound, symbols, mudras, and sacred geometry as simply a tool to help remember. Is it applicable to all people? I would say no. But when you see a powerful fifth dimensional image, it can create an engram in your brain. It will never go away, it will always stay there. But in appropriate time, the seeds will come out.
That's the face part, right? The seeding without seeing the result, the harvesting, and planting without sitting under the shades, right? This is one of the teacher's quality, and I'm really kind of salute to you to that. But there's another information very important in a spiritual, you call, I don't even like to use this word because it's very divisional. In the conscious understanding, it's about the dragon energies and also synchronistic lines and the sacred sides. As all my encounters or different teachers and different practitioners, and there's a lot of variations to it. However, I think the dragon consciousness have also lots of baggage in the Western mind. So I'd love to hear your first and your research and your because you do powerful symbols on those topics. So it would be great for you to review for the community for the first time. Yeah.
Now, my sister, before human beings came to the planet, as you know, so much preparation has to go through, is it not? Before a band plays, somebody had to make a stage. You know that. And that takes a long time. Before Yahshua came, his grandmother came 600 years before to set the energy. Same way, before human beings came to the planet, lot of preparation went into making the planet a habitable planet. And all were invited to come here. And the first beings who came here was the dragon beings. They were the emissaries from the higher source, coming here to anchor a certain energy called the crystalline consciousness. And they laid this energy, 12 dragons came and they left. And this energy is awakening now. And then all animals, all the plant spirit, a call went into the universe that the higher one, the creator, is creating a planet which will be an experimental planet in which human beings will come here, but they will not have the full memory of who they are. So we need volunteers to come and support them. And all the tree spirits, all the other beings agreed to come here. And all these beings knew they would be abused, they would be mistreated, they would do everything. But they said, we love human beings. We are going to see whether this is going to work out. Why? Because human beings will learn through mistakes. When they forget who they are, they will make mistakes. In their mistakes, they will learn to grow and they would understand all the nuances of creation and responsibility. Then they would take this soul awareness and go into many of the other planetary systems in our solar system and stimulate growth, because many of the planetary system does not have growth, because if a life is good, you will not grow. So this is an experimental planet. So the dragons came and they anchored the light, and the first light they anchored is in a place you call Malaysia, in the Batu cave. So if you go to Malaysia, Batu cave, it's a holy place. They have been having Hindu temple for 700 years, but how did they know to create a temple there? They also anchored energy in Tibet, in Russia, in 12 different power spots. So the dragons, we can call them, if you look at the history in the Asian culture, many temples, they have drawings of the dragons on the walls. How did they know to draw? Collectively, they knew there is this power of dragon. China, Japan, dragon is very, very popular. So they were real beings who came to support. What happened is, from 1987 onwards, the planetary magnetics were shifting. When there is magnetics in the ground, human beings forget more. It has been shifting, and it shifted and completed its shift in 2012. This is why you see there have been many whales beaching to the shore, many birds dying, because they were following the magnetics in the ground. The magnetics change. They lost track. Many runways has to be adjusted. They were created because when the human beings were coming here for the experiment to work, they must forget who they are. So they laid magnetics. The magnetics moved, created an opening, and it is called the magnetic grid. Now we are opening to the crystalline grid, the energy of the Christ consciousness, or the higher evolutionary concept within us, in which case we change from carbon-based physical body to crystalline-based light body. And what does crystals hold? Memory. This is why there is crystals in the computers. So when you have more crystalline energy or crystalline grid opening within you, you start remembering more of who you are. So dragons are very real beings. You can call on the dragon to support you, because the dragon energy is related to the fire power within us, the Kundalini power within us. It is connected to the chakras within us. It is connected to our higher DNA strand, which is more than 12 strands. We have 144 strands in our multi-dimensional body. Dragons hold these frequencies. So simply calling on the dragon, because when you call in earnest, when you call in love, there's a rule in the universe that is called the law of reciprocation. When you make a request 3 times sincerely, all beings must reciprocate. It just needs calling with sincerity and love, not as an ego, but to know more about yourself and to heal yourself through this energy coming into you, and you would feel it. I highly recommend all of you to work with the dragons. And if you look at some of the Indian stories, Mahabharata, the dragons swallowed the atomic bomb. If you go to Malaysia, yes, you can see the stories. If you go to Malaysia, you will see dragon cave. There's a big dragon. So why? They were real beings on the planet. It's why. And why do you think we have Avatar movie came in few years back? They introduced dragons. They introduced other beings from outer space. Why? When more and more human beings accept this part, they will start showing up in real life. Our universe is teeming with life. We need to be open. When we are open, you will see them.
Because there's truth in the story. So I always say my soul has a response to happiness with the tears. So I actually have a tear moment when I hear the dragon story. So it's so much incredible memory in it. I would assume, and also from my lifetimes, I would say. But I don't want to pick up cultural sensitivity, but as we all know, that can we define dragon as ancestor then? Because that's how we defend.
Yes, definitely. So let
Yeah.
me tell you a simple story.
Yeah.
There was a gentleman. He wanted to read a book. He went to the library to read, to find the book. But when he went to the library, he was fascinated by the library. There was a nude statue. He looked at the statue. Then there was a painting. He looked at the painting. There was a fountain. He looked at the fountain. He looked at all this. And finally, he went to the bookshelf. He said, I finally found the book. That book was there from last 25 years, but you never looked. Same way, there is available everything. You just need to have a focus and look, and you'll find it.
Yeah, it's the profound always easy. I love that. I love that story. It's where you put your focus, intention to.
You draw that into you, exactly.
Exactly. But don't you find that there's another the question? There's just a question about when we open all this, because I meet a lot of divine beings here in Ibiza who are called by this ancient crystalline energy and information. But because we are encrypted in this lower self and lower mind so strongly, and I see more chaos, I see more disparity, I see lots of self-deception from my judgmental mind, probably, from myself as well. So I just wondering what is the next stage for people like that? What is the best support system for them in their separated being and life?
We simply hold them in divine love. That's all. Because there is free will. We did not try to influence them in any way. We become just the lighthouse. We shine the light, and they have the potential to choose to see the light or not. But we lovingly shine the light.
Take lots of patience, take lots of patience. And
sister, if you look at how many times people shine light in our house, how many times people have patience in our life, is it not? I can say in my life many.
Yeah,
we just shine.
But if we look at action, because we talk about action, right, and we talk about protection. Because yesterday we were chanting Hanuman by the tree, by I think it's guidance. So how do we see that aspect? Where is the law, like a non-appearance allowing? Where is the protection? Where is the action of stopping the wrongdoing happen?
It's a very good question, because Since the universe is teeming with the millions of life forms and millions of energy, which all of them are not evolved as Earth. There are many lower level beings, and if you look at some of the movies, old movies, Lord of the Rings and other things, people coming out of the underground to fight. So Earth is right now around the 3.56 dimension. There are lower dimension, 1 dimension, 1.1, 2, 2. So there are many beings there too. Plus on the solar system, if our aura is very clear, we will not be influenced at all. And if we are protecting ourselves every day simply by your own soul's light, and also every day I disconnect all energies I have gathered today, which is not of light and love. It's called discording. Every day we must disconnect energies. We as a human being always collect energies whenever we open our mouth to speak. And of course, through television, through any communication, there's energy going between you and the other person. We must disconnect, called discoding. So simple maintenance exercise every day, you will be able to stay within your own truth. For humanity to awaken, they also need simple, we show them the light. And in case they ask you, is there anything they can do to find this within themselves? You share with them, but we never enforce them.
Never enforce them. That's beautiful. And I feel there is so lots of information through your personal sharing, and quite saturated in this field, lots to address. And I think it will be time for us to tap into what you are having teaching for, which is the mudra and sound and some message. If you could share at this moment, or is it the way to exponentially take in?
I would tell you, I will show you a few things. You can do it standing or sitting. You simply open your index finger and the middle finger of both the hands, and let your left hand go above your head and the right hand in front of your heart. What it will do is, it will immediately bring you instant silence. And in around 3 minutes time, no thoughts. Even if you try to hold a thought, you cannot. There is no thoughts. There's no power to the thought. You will come to a place of emptiness. Emptiness within your own self. Simple. Your hand like this, right hand index finger, and your left hand open like this, and bring your right hand in and place it like this in front of your heart. Just breathe it in simple. Again, very quickly, a stillness. It means I am an infinite being expressing myself as finite. A deep stillness can come right away. The third one, just like this. Let the thumb touch the ring finger like this. Keep the spinal column straight. It means I am a three-part being. I am the physical body, the mind, and the soul. I join these three parts within me. How do
That
you
was
feel? How is it feel?
a very resonant. I always have a very direct resonance with your mudra. So I feel there we didn't touch the larger dimensions, lifetimes, encounters, all that. That's
No,
most
sister.
fascinating story.
No, but let me tell you one thing, sister. We need practical solution to change our life, not philosophical concepts. When your life is suffering, you need something to shift, is it not, sister? It's nice to know about life story, who you have been, where you have been, which planet. It's all good. But how does you change the drama of your life? It is through practical application. So I believe I don't teach philosophy. I bring practical application to the people. And I tell,
Teaching with technologies, basically.
try it in your own way. If it
Mhm.
supports you, fine. If it not support you, just throw it away. That's all. We'll have a last few
So,
minutes. Yes.
yeah, before I let you go, I think we will touch one point about the multi-billion-dollar business.
Yes.
In my journey in Davos, I have a strong calling supporting leaders and researchers from the other non-academic background, which is discriminated and not as actually, to be honest, I do not think that's a fair reality. And there's also, but in the put it into the complex economy, put the money, this funny energy into the system. How would you like to see, as a teacher, as a healer, how would you like to see this system change? Because you feel that the workshop, the sacred journey, there was giving you sizable, beautiful, enough rewards as of now from your higher guidance, your practical application, or it's unfair system. There things need to be changed so people can reach that what the people are looking at it. Different economy system or donation based. What would be your ideal scenario with this touchy matter?
I would say simply two things. Every human being, our role is to be a part of creating a just society in which there is equality and, more important, empowering every human being to be the best they can given the circumstance in the present moment. Now, I also believe that the law of energy simply says any energy exchange is an energy must exchange because the law of returns. This law could be in any way, energy could be in any way. It's not about just money. It's about you could a smile, a thank you, a prayer, a thought, a good deed, anything. What I would like to say to the people is let us empower to the best of our ability all brothers and sisters who cross our path. Simple, just by being gentle to them, by a smile, by a kind word, a look in your eyes, or simply sending prayer and healing to all on a daily basis. And to make all people equal. A teacher is one who trains his students to become teachers. Not just keep it my way always. No. We train you to become the teachers, and you go out into the world and you share and teach in your own way.
And with that high note, I will leave invitation because in our experiences, I would say we could share that one. Sacred journey is not only teaching, only healing, but also collectively supporting our system. And so with that, I would love to see the journey of us or separately or collectively with lots of people got this message. will join in that efforts in the systematic healing in action. Yeah, I'm the same. I practice them in the action and soft heart and mushy heart in the real core. So I'm such a honor until we can meet and really work in different side of the world. But I just want to salute your job and really introduce your technology sooner or later to the community. Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much, Greg.
Thank you. Would like to just share one thing. The
Yeah.
last 3 months in May, June,
Mhm.
and July, we had 24 hours meditations where we meditated for healing the conflict in Israel, recent
Mhm.
conflict. We meditated on coronavirus of India. We had one more meditation for world healing. And on the 1st of August 24, we have a meditation for Vietnam, because Vietnam, there is so much of coronavirus now. And on May 7th and 8th, we have another 24-hour meditation, which is free to attend for all people. And what we have noticed is we have seen a shift, but we do it not because we want to shift. We believe when a group of people gather with the pure intentions, that thought form is strong. And what humanity needs now is a new thought form to create a new reality. We are trying to create a new reality from an old thought pattern, which will continuously create the same thing. To create something new, you need to have a new thought patterns.
100% agreed. And for that reason, we're definitely on the same path, the growth companion. But thanks so much. Again,
Thank you.
I'm love to share that in the future and joining those and taking more of the community with us. Okay. Thank you so much, Ray.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye bye. I will send you the recording. Okay. Great. Okay.
Please do. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye bye.